Hello. I'm Carrie with the Brain Injury Alliance. It's very special for everyone to join us here today. We are here in celebration of March Brain Injury Awareness Month. It's a time when we bring together different facets of the community, neuroprofessionals, caregivers, survivors of brain injury. You know, everybody plans for certain things in their life. You plan maybe to graduate college, you work hard for your first home, your first car. Those are all milestones worthy of celebration. However, when you can take life and still stand, when you've been thrown a curveball like brain injury, that's really something to celebrate. When you have worked hard every day to be able to regain the ability to feed yourself again, to dress yourself, this is the determination and grit of the survivors we are celebrating here today and the caregivers that have helped them every step of the way for years afterwards. We have a couple special things going on, including a display sponsored by Sun State that allows survivors of violence to tell their story, including a young woman who survived a Las Vegas shooting in October of 2017. She is still in physical rehabilitation after surviving a gunshot wound to the head. Think of that. Think of all the things that have happened since October 2017. Her entire focus, in addition to all the duties that she had before, being a mother, a wife, a professional, she has been working hard every day since October 2017. And there are millions of people who are doing that with recovering from things that weren't national news. So we're here to celebrate them today. I am so pleased to introduce the Mayor of Phoenix, Ms. Zelda Williams, to start our Brain Injury Awareness Month celebration here at the City Hall in Phoenix.
Thank you. It's truly an honor to be part of this, to recognize that March is the month to celebrate the Brain Injury Alliance. I confess I didn't know about this alliance prior to today, and I am so impressed. I've been reading the descriptions on the mask, and I read the information that over 50,000 people a year suffer from this. I didn't think of the range, the accidents that could happen, car accident, falling on your chin while you're ice skating, traumatic violence. It is just a horrific thing, and I am delighted to meet some of you. I know you suffer every day, but the challenges you face, you are doing so well. I'm very, very proud that you are here in Phoenix and that you are Phoenician. And this is, I believe, the first time this exhibit's been here. And I encourage people to come look at this. It is very, very impressive. And each mask tells a story. And it's an important story. And the masks are important to the people that make them, but for the community to understand and recognize what's going on around us. I am, as mayor, committed to continuing to help you in however we can. I think it's extremely important that we all work together to help you continue with your lives, to get stronger and better, and participate in activities that we perhaps can help with. So, to acknowledge this, I have made an official proclamation. Carrie, would you like to come up? And I would like to present you with the proclamation recognizing that March is officially declared Brain Injury Awareness Month in the City of Phoenix, and I invite all Phoenicians to join me in raising awareness, improving prevention, and providing maximum support to those who have experienced a traumatic brain injury.
Thank you. Mayor, would it be okay if our staff came up as well?
Surely.
I'd like to invite Feis, Brittany, Laura. Our staff is certified brain injury specialists, and they work with over thousands of people each year who have had brain injury.
And I want to commend them for doing this work. It takes a special person, and obviously you are the special people that can help others. So thank you for what you do.
Thank you very much.
You're very welcome.
Thank you for your support.
You're welcome.
We're represented here today very well, including with some of our board leadership. I'd like to invite Scott Palumbo, who is not only a board member but chairs our advisory council. I'd like to invite him to join me up at the podium and say a few words on how he sees brain injury presenting in the community and the work that still needs to be done.
Thank you, Carrie. Thank you for all of you and your team's hard work. And Mayor Williams, thank you for your words. I think you hit the nail on the head. You didn't know about this alliance. This alliance needs to be known because so many people. I have a high school coach here that I haven't seen. Life has been devastated by head trauma. And people like him and thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of other Arizonans don't have the resources they need. We need this organization to be much bigger, much more well-known, to take care of the people, not just the people who suffer catastrophic brain injuries, but smaller brain injuries that affect them on their daily basis, even though you can't see it. I'm a lawyer. I represent people with head trauma. A lot of times the people with head trauma don't know they have problems, but their family members are sitting in the back of the room saying they have problems, okay? My clients come to me not knowing where to go. I knew about this organization because one of my clients went there and said they were a godsend. We need brain injury to be the center of attention that it needs to be in this community. Take the time to go read some of these masks. I didn't know what this mask project was. It didn't make sense to me at the beginning. And through Laura Johnson's work and everybody else's work, this is some of the most powerful stuff you can read. It hits home. It hits home to me every day as a lawyer. So I just want to thank the mayor for giving us the opportunity to show off what a crisis this condition is to so many people. And thanks for having us. Thank you again to the Brain Injury Alliance, to Carrie, and all of the hard work, and to so many other people who support us. Let's get it bigger. Let's get this the attention it deserves. So thank you.
Thank you so much to Scott. He heard our goals of scaling up to a larger organization so we could truly serve the need across the state for all types of brain injury and serving those at all points after brain injury. From working with a family where someone is in a coma in the hospital to answering the call when a survivor of brain injury who might have been injured 40, 50, 60 years ago, like my own mother, and might have never even known they had a brain injury. We work with people at all points after brain injury. So when Scott heard our goal to scale up to be able to serve more people, he answered the call and chairs our advisory council. So we have to thank him for that as well. Laura, would you like to come up? I'd like to invite Miss Laura Johnson up. She is our Unmasking Brain Injury Arizona Director. This is part of a national movement that's been going on for multiple years. Unmasking brain injury is across the country and globally. When we started to prepare for this journey, we thought maybe we would get about 60 masks in a year. That's pretty much on par with what other people who have taken this on have accomplished, and we were overwhelmed with the response from the community, the people that wanted to share their story. So the woman that has been managing all that is Laura. I'd like to invite her to say a few words about the project.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for being here. And I am Laura Johnson, Director of the Unmasking Brain Injury Project, and I am also an invisible disability. I'm a traumatic brain injury survivor. It was 11 years ago. And I, without the support of Brain Injury Alliance and my family and the other survivors who all band together, I wouldn't be here. I wouldn't be able to do, here I go. I wouldn't be able to do this project. And it's just been an amazing ride. I have been in Flagstaff and Tucson and in Prescott so far, all in the last month. And the project's objective is to really, what Scott talked about, raise awareness in our communities. It hits anybody at any age, at any time. And I've at the end with the violence masks, there's a 5-year-old boy who was a shaken baby, and so I've worked with 5-year-olds all the way up to 86-year-olds, and all across every type of brain injury, whether it's stroke, aneurysm, traumatic brain injury, cancer, tumor, and AVMs. It's just all over the state, and we are so fortunate to have this project and be the host. There are several ways that people can participate, and I host events at Ability 360, where our office is, and do mask making events there, and we provide all the art supplies. And one thing that's really cool about that is everybody comes together in a social aspect, which is very hard with brain injury. A lot of times the motivation's not there, and there's social anxiety. I still experience all these things 11 years later, but I still hear, "Oh, you look fine." So we're trying to erase that stigma, and I also, for people who are incapacitated or have no transportation, or they're in a rural area, I do mail mask kits out to people's homes, and that way they can work with their family members and things. The project is open as well to caregivers and family members, so a lot of times with the masks, we have them displayed side by side, because I would not be here without my family, that's for sure. Even still, Mom's been driving me to Tucson and to Flagstaff. So it's been incredible, and without the survivors who support me and support the project, I wouldn't be here. So I really thank you a lot, and I want to thank our sponsors as well. They've gotten us this far, and our goal is to have the display travel throughout 2019 and 2020. So the project is continuing, and anybody can still contact me at the Brain Injury Alliance to participate. So thank you so much, everyone, for being here.
Next, I'd like to invite Ms. Kim Jones to join me at the podium. She's going to tell us a little bit about what it's like to get the phone call, to get the notice that something has happened to someone you love, and the journey that happens afterwards.
No tears. Good morning. I think it's still morning. And as Carrie said, and I hope I try to do this, and I speak all the time, but I inevitably tear up, so I apologize in advance. One of these days, I'm going to be able to do it without doing so. But my name is Kim Jones. I am Ms. America International 2018, and you may wonder what that has to do with brain injury. Well, my son, as Carrie said, I got that phone call, and he was 13, and he was in a motor vehicle accident. Here I go again. He was in a motor vehicle accident with his sister, and he has a severe traumatic brain injury. He lives with me. Michelle knows him. So when I got older and got past the crises stage of his traumatic brain injury, I thought, what can I do to inform others about this? Because I found there was a gap, and there was a gap for the caregivers. And these caregivers had no one to turn to. There was literally no outreach, no support for them, and I had no information about a traumatic brain injury, did not know the first thing about it, nursing my son, caring for him while I was working full-time. So I thought, I used to do pageants when I was younger, and now for adult women, you like that term, mature women? That's a nice one. For us, they have a platform, and you have to have a platform to speak on. So when I took up traumatic brain injury and care for the caregiver and survivors, it gave me a platform to go around the country, different places in the state, and talk about traumatic brain injury and its effects on not only the survivors, but the caregivers. My son, when he was in the hospital, he was in for 4 months, a coma for 42 days, and still undergoes physical therapy. As I said, he lives with me. When he did come home, I shared with Carrie at one time, I was scared for him to come home. I didn't know him. I didn't know anything about this person who was not my son. He was not my 13-year-old child, who was literally playing in a football game the night before the accident. And I was frightened of this person. And I really had to get to know him. And the doctors even told me, this is a new son. Say goodbye to the old one and welcome this new one. So that's very traumatic for myself and for my family, as well as for my son. And I thought it was interesting what Scott said, that sometimes the brain injury survivors don't realize they have a traumatic brain injury or issues. Well, my son obviously does, because he has physical issues, but emotionally and mentally and psychologically, he is very reluctant to admit that at times. And again, that's a result of the traumatic brain injury. But that's what I did to do my part, really, to improve awareness of traumatic brain injury. And I got involved with Carrie because she does such an incredible job with these events and bringing survivors and caregivers together. So that is my role here, and I hope you enjoy these masks. I think they're amazing. They bring me to tears reading some of the narratives on them because they are so emotional and so heartfelt. But again, thank you so much, and just be aware that it can happen to any of us at any time with any type of incident or accident you can think of, and just take care of your loved ones. But thank you for being here.
Thank you so much. And again, thank you to the City of Phoenix for their hospitality. Anyone can come and see this. We're in the atrium of City Hall until March 15th, and then it will be available in other parts of the state as well. And I have to thank the people who helped us get here. You never get very far on your own. Not only our staff, but our supporters. Palumbo, Wolf and Palumbo helped us sponsor the display here. When we realized how big we were getting, I called them and said, uh-oh, we need a little help for the infrastructure of this. So thank you to them as well. At this time, we're going to have a purple ribbon cutting. This is the first time the display has been all together anywhere. So we started this journey last year, but this is the first time you're seeing the display in its entirety. And again, you can still participate. Please go to biaaz.org. Tell your story. Don't let it go untold. Get involved in a variety of different organizations that we refer to. So we are excited to have you join the fun. So if you want to transition over here, we'll have a March Brain Injury Awareness ribbon cutting.
3, 2,